Give or take, said Mr. Sparks. Now, as you might imagine, it's easy enough to distinguish, say, a panther from a python, or a mushroom from a muskrat, but some differences are harder to detect. For instance, take birds. How do you tell a yellow-bellied flycatcher from a yellow-bellied sapsucker? The biologist's answer is you learn how to classify and how to create a key. That is today's assignment. I bet the yellow we'll be studying isn't bird bellies, PW speculated. How right you are, said Mr. Sparks, beckoning the class to join him around his desk. Time to brainstorm properties of potato chips, he said as he lined up 8 bags from his stockpile. Can anyone come up with a yes or no question that will distinguish some of these chips from others? How about, is the chip flavored? Suggested Lily Matisse. Excellent, said Mr. Sparks. He wrote down flavored and not flavored. Anyone else have a mutually exclusive property that will help us classify our thin-sliced, deep-fried tubers? How about shape, said Thomas Warchowski. Turn that into a yes or no question, said Mr. Sparks. Is the chip crinkle cut? Perfect, said Mr. Sparks. He wrote down crinkle cut and not crinkle cut. The question and answer session continued until he had a long list of properties that helped differentiate each brand of chip from the others. Right, said Mr. Sparks. Now let's see how we can use this information. Suppose I say to you, Thomas, I have a non-crinkle cut, flavored, non-low-fat potato chip. Can you tell me which of these 8 it might be? Thomas looked at the pile and said, nope. You can't, said Mr. Sparks disappointedly. Well, I know which one it is, I just can't say it, Thomas explained. It's PW's chip, the one with the super long name. Fair enough, said Mr. Sparks, but you see my point. By coming up with yes-no questions that isolate differences, we can create a key that enables us to classify potato chips. Cool, said Thomas. Does that mean I get to eat all the chips in the bag? Afraid not, said Mr. Sparks. We'll be using these samples in next week's experiment. That stinks, grumbled Lumpkin. I feel your pain, said Mr. Sparks, but you can take comfort in knowing that the ability to classify, to draw distinctions, is crucial to the scientist's understanding of the natural world. Without that ability, we couldn't tell a potato chip from a lump of coal. Or a lump of coal from a lumpkin, Leon said to himself. Mr. Sparks' lesson got him thinking. If classification could aid the scientist in understanding the natural world, maybe it could help with the supernatural, too.